Every year, for just a few weeks, Earth performs its greatest magic trick. 3 billion trees across the northern hemisphere simultaneously catch fire without burning, an explosion of color visible from space. A transformation so powerful, it moves $30 billion around the globe and causes 5 million people to abandon their homes in search of perfect light. But here's what most people don't know. While millions fight for the same photograph in the same 5 places, following the same influencer maps, there exists a parallel autumn, a secret season that belongs to those who understand that the best flames burn where nobody's watching. There exists a hidden network of travelers who've discovered something extraordinary, not the autumn of tour buses and hashtags, but the one that monks wake at 4 a.m. to witness, the one that locals guard with whispered directions, the one that thrives in November when October's crowds have gone home, in valleys that GPS can't find, on mountains where autumn rebels against its own rules. These aren't travel influencers or luxury tourists. They're teachers from Tokyo, farmers from Romania, photographers from Scotland, ordinary people who've learned that the world's most spectacular autumn experiences are hidden in plain sight, protected by nothing more than early mornings and local knowledge. From Japanese temples where maples glow in midnight candlelight, to Patagonian forests that burn gold while snow still falls, to Eastern European valleys where autumn costs less than your morning coffee, you're about to discover the autumn that Instagram doesn't know exists. The autumn that transforms travelers into pilgrims. The autumn that's been waiting for those brave enough to wake before dawn. It begins in the country that turned autumn viewing into an art form, where 3 million tourists are looking in the wrong direction. While 3 million tourists crush into Kyoto, Japanese grandmothers take a 40-minute train to paradise. Forget Arashiyama. Forget Kiyomizudera. The real Japanese autumn happens on the Eizan Electric Railway, heading to magical places like Kurama, Kibune, and Ohara. These aren't hidden. They're just ignored because they require one thing that people dislike: effort. Here's the 700 yen secret, the Kurama Kibune sightseeing ticket. One day, unlimited travel, access to 3 mountains of perfect momiji. While Kyoto charges 1,000 yen just to enter a garden, this ticket unlocks 20 kilometers of trails where monks have been viewing autumn for 1,200 years. The game changer is timing. Japanese locals use something called Koryo-jo-ho, Foliage information networks. Every post office has a handwritten board showing exact color percentages, not predictions, real-time data from hiking grandfathers who check daily. Take the first train at 5:47 a.m. to Kurama. Walk the back trail to the temple. At 7 a.m., they light the morning incense, and the smoke creates gold pillars through the maple canopy. You'll be alone except for 3 monks, and maybe one local photographer who's been coming for 30 years. But here's what nobody knows. These temples offer midnight viewing for locals only, except they never check if you're local. Just show up at 11 p.m., pay 500 yen, and experience autumn foliage by candlelight with maybe 5 other people. Tourists photograph autumn. Locals experience it. The cost, $30 total. The experience, what Kyoto was like before Instagram existed. These Japanese temples guard autumn with ancient rituals and midnight ceremonies, but across the Pacific, There's a road that cuts through liquid gold, and the only password you need is knowing which highway to avoid. Vermont's Tourism Board doesn't want you to know that New Hampshire's North Country has better foliage and 90% fewer people. Everyone takes Interstate 89 to Stowe. It's a parking lot by September. Meanwhile, Route 2 through New Hampshire's White Mountains delivers what I call the Lonely Leaf Loop, 200 miles of peak foliage with pull-offs every mile and maybe 10 cars per hour. Peak foliage is the worst time to visit. Here's why. Trees peak for 3 days, but pre-peak lasts 2 weeks with 90% of the color and 10% of the crowds. The sweet spot, 5 days before whatever the foliage reports claim, is peak. The North Country, Colebrook, Dixville Notch, Errol. This is Vermont from 40 years ago. Family motels cost $65. Diners where locals tell you their secret spots. And the foliage. It peaks a full week before southern New England, meaning you get perfect colors while everyone else stares at green trees waiting for peak week. Here's the move. Lake Francis State Park at dawn. Completely empty. The mist creates 3 layers of autumn trees, reflection, and fog colors. Photographers pay guides $500 to find this spot. You just need to wake up at 5 a.m. Stop at local diners in Pittsburgh and Colebrook. These North Country towns have community bulletin boards where locals share road conditions and color reports. Logging crews and forestry workers update these informal networks information that never makes it to apps or official foliage reports. Tuesday and Thursday mornings are when fresh updates typically appear as crews report back from the week's work. The best foliage is where GPS signals disappear. Total cost for 3 days, $400 including everything. Stowe would cost that for 1 night. New England's secret drives through forests that tourists will never find. But there's an island where November holds a different kind of magic, where ancient trees burn bronze against stone castles, and the rain itself turns to gold. Scotland's autumn peaks in November, costs half of October, and delivers colors that make New England look amateur. Everyone visits Scotland in summer. The smart few come in October, but the locals, they wait for November. Here's why. Scotland's native trees, rowan, birch, aspen, hold their colors 3 weeks longer than anywhere else in Europe. The Gulf Stream creates a phenomenon where trees turn slowly, displaying 15 different shades simultaneously. Perthshire, nicknamed Big Tree Country, has the highest concentration of champion trees in Europe. The Hermitage near Dunkeld, Killiecrankie Pass, the Enchanted Forest in November, you have them to yourself. November is too cold and wet. False. November averages 2 degrees cooler than October, but with 40% less rainfall. The storms that soak October tourists have passed. You get crisp, clear days perfect for hiking. The Hermitage has a viewing folly built in 1758 specifically for autumn colors. In November, at 3 p.m., the low sun hits the gorge, creating what Wordsworth called liquid gold. October tourists miss this because the sun angle is wrong. Stay in Pitlochry, but not in hotels. Stay in accommodations like Craigvrack House. The owner owns 3 cottages, and her brother runs the forestry service. Every morning, he texts her where the best colors are that day. She charges £70 per night and includes this insider information with breakfast. Queen's View at Loch Tummel, visit at 4 p.m. in November when tour buses have left. The entire valley turns copper and gold. You'll share it with maybe one local photographer. October is for tourists. November is for autumn. Scotland keeps November for those who understand that beauty doesn't fear weather. But what if autumn itself could rebel against time? At the bottom of the world, April holds a secret that makes October obsolete. While everyone fights for October foliage up north, Patagonia delivers the world's most dramatic autumn in April, with 95% fewer tourists. The Southern Hemisphere's autumn runs March to May, but here's what nobody tells you. Patagonia's April is pure magic. The Lenga forests turn gold while snow still caps the peaks. It's autumn and winter in a single frame. Torres del Paine in April sees 8,000 visitors. October, 60,000. The entire park becomes yours. The same trails that require reservations in summer? Walk on whenever you want. The refugios that cost $150 in peak season, try $40. The Mirador Las Torres Trail in April delivers something impossible. Golden forests leading to snow-covered granite towers. The contrast is so dramatic, photographers claim images are fake. Plus, the famous Patagonian winds calm down in autumn. You can actually enjoy the viewpoints. El Chaltén, Argentina's trekking capital, transforms in April. The Lenga forests surrounding Mount Fitzroy create a golden amphitheater. The Laguna de los Tres trail impossible crowds in summer, becomes a private autumn pilgrimage. Take the local bus from El Calafate. Don't take the tours. It's $12 versus $120, and drivers stop for photos whenever you ask. Stay at Aylan Ike Hostel in El Chaltén. The owner Miguel leads free sunrise hikes to secret viewpoints every April morning. Lago del Desierto, 37 kilometers north of El Chaltén. In April, it's you, the lake, and maybe 3 other people. The Lenga forest reflects perfectly in the still water, creating double autumn. April in Patagonia is October in Vermont, minus 10,000 people. Patagonia proves that autumn can bloom beneath winter's crown. But deep in Transylvania's forgotten valleys, medieval castles rise from forests that burn with the same fire as Vermont. Except here, the only crowds are legends. Romania's Carpathians deliver New England quality foliage for the price of a Vermont coffee. While Americans pay $400 per night in Stowe, Transylvania offers the same beech and oak forests, medieval castles in the mist, and total solitude for $30 per night. The Carpathian Mountains stretch across Romania, creating 900 kilometers of uninterrupted autumn canvas. The Trans-Făgărașan Highway, Top Gear called it the best road in the world. In October, it's a 90-kilometer tunnel through peak foliage. Hotels cost $25, traditional Romanian meals, $8. The entire experience costs less than parking in Vermont. Eastern Europe's autumn isn't as good. I've photographed both. Romania's Fagus sylvatica produces more color variations than American beech. The Carpathians hold color 2 weeks longer due to elevation variations. You're getting superior foliage at 10% of the cost. Slovenia's Vipava Valley is Europe's best-kept autumn secret. While tourists flood Lake Bled, Vipava delivers golden vineyards, medieval villages and mountain forests in every direction. October brings the golden wine harvest. You pick grapes in the morning, feast in the afternoon, and hike through forests that look like oil paintings. Bran Castle at 6 a.m. in October. The tourist buses don't arrive until 9. You have 3 hours alone in a medieval castle surrounded by blood-red forests. The morning mist creates Transylvania's signature atmosphere, Gothic autumn at its finest. Stay in the villages of Moșu de Sus or Peștera, not Brașov. These mountain communities offer family-run guest houses for 20 to 40 euro per night. Many local families own forest land with private trails and offer informal morning walks to see red deer during autumn. October mornings provide the best wildlife viewing as deer are more active during mating season. Ask guest house owners about local hiking trails. Most are happy to share their knowledge of hidden spots away from the tourist crowds. Eastern Europe is what Vermont was before it became famous. Europe's forgotten forests whisper their colors to empty trails, but in Korea's sacred mountains, monks have discovered something extraordinary. Autumn has a golden hour that starts in darkness and ends with enlightenment. Korean monks have been keeping this autumn secret for 1,500 years. The colors are different at 4 a.m. Seoraksan National Park gets 3 million visitors in October, but here's what they miss. The park opens at 4 a.m. for temple devotees. You don't need to be Buddhist, you just need to wake up early. The ticket office doesn't even have staff, just an honor box. At 5:47 a.m., sunrise hits Seoraksan's peaks, while valleys remain in shadow. For 23 minutes you witness something impossible, autumn colors that glow like they're plugged into electricity. The Koreans call it Dan Pung Il Chul, maple sunrise. Sin Hyongsa Temple. At dawn, the 15-meter bronze Buddha sits surrounded by maples that monks have cultivated for centuries to peak simultaneously. At sunrise, the Buddha appears to float in a sea of fire. By 8 a.m., it's 500 people with selfie sticks. The Cheonbul-dong Valley Trail. If you start at 4 a.m., you reach the hidden waterfalls by sunrise. The water appears gold from reflected maple light. Koreans believe drinking this autumn water at sunrise brings clarity for the entire year. Stay at Seorak-dong, not Sokcho City. The Minbak, which are family guest houses, cost $25, and owners wake you at 3:30 a.m. They pack breakfast and know exactly which trails have peaked. Temple stays cost 70,000 won and include the 4 a.m. mountain meditation. You join monks hiking to power spots where autumn energy concentrates. Even if you're not spiritual, the experience of mountains igniting with color while chanting echoes through valleys is unforgettable. Autumn has a golden hour. It starts at 4 a.m. Korea's temples catch fire each dawn in rituals older than memory. But halfway across the Pacific, there's a tree that shouldn't exist, a conifer that thinks it's deciduous, painting Canada's highest valleys gold for exactly 17 days. These are the only conifers on Earth that forgot they're supposed to stay green, and for 17 days, they create the most exclusive autumn show in North America. Larches are nature's rebels, coniferous trees that act deciduous, turning brilliant gold before dropping their needles. They grow only above 2,000 meters, in places most tourists can't reach. While millions photograph Lake Louise from the parking lot, a 2-hour hike up reveals the Larch Valley, where 400-year-old trees turn the mountainsides into rivers of gold. October is peak season in the Rockies. Wrong. Larch season peaks 15 till 30th of September, before the October crowds arrive. Parks Canada doesn't heavily promote it, because the trails can't handle crowds. September also means no snow yet, warmer temperatures, and hotels at half the October prices. The Sentinel Pass route above Moraine Lake. Everyone knows the lake, nobody hikes the pass. At 2,611 meters, you're above the famous view looking down at photographers cramming the rocks below, while you stand alone among golden larches that exist nowhere else at this latitude. Valley of the Five Lakes near Jasper, 5 pools of impossible blues, turquoise, jade, cobalt, surrounded by golden larches. The color combination shouldn't exist in nature. September weekdays, maybe 10 people. October weekends, 500. Book the Lake O'Hara bus lottery in April for September dates. Only 42 people allowed daily. If you miss the lottery, stay at Numti Jar Lodge at Bow Lake. The owner leads unofficial sunrise hikes to unnamed larch groves. The indigenous guides from the Stoney Nakoda Nation offer tours to valleys not marked on any Parks Canada map, places where larches grow in patterns their ancestors used for navigation. Larches prove that even nature's rules have beautiful exceptions. Canada's larches rebel against nature for just 2 weeks each year, but America holds its own sacred secret: ancient mountains where the Cherokee say autumn was born, and where 14 million visitors somehow miss the valleys that matter most. While millions visit the Smokies each October, 98% never discover the valleys where Cherokee elders say autumn was born. The Great Smoky Mountains receive 14 million visitors annually. Cades Cove becomes a parking lot. Gatlinburg transforms into Times Square. But hidden in these ancient mountains are valleys so secret they don't appear on official park maps, places where the Cherokee have watched autumn unfold for 1,000 years. Cataloochee Valley. You need four-wheel drive and local knowledge to find it. The road isn't marked. Locals call it the disappearing highway because fog makes it invisible. At dawn, 200 elk graze among golden tulip poplars while exactly 0 tourists watch. The Roosevelt elk were reintroduced here specifically because the valley is so hidden. But the real secret is Greenbrier, the forgotten Smokies. No tour buses can navigate the narrow road. The Ramsey Cascades Trail leads through virgin forest where trees are 500 years old and autumn colors layer in ways that shouldn't exist. 7 distinct color zones stacked vertically. Small communities like Pittman Center and Cosby hold generations of local knowledge about hidden trails and valleys. Some Cherokee families in the area still share stories of sacred places their ancestors knew. Local shops, post offices, and community centers often have informal information about lesser-known trails. The genuine secret spots require building relationships with locals who protect these places from overcrowding. Respect and patience open more doors than money ever could. The timing secret. Visit the 3rd week of October at 4,500 feet elevation. The Park Service promotes lower elevations, but the middle country between 4,000 and 5,000 feet holds colors for 3 weeks longer. The Smokies don't hide autumn, they protect it. Deep in America's most visited park lie valleys that nobody visits, where autumn exists as the Cherokee first witnessed it. But the greatest secret isn't about finding hidden places. It's about understanding that every million-dollar view has a sunrise shadow where the same beauty costs nothing but courage. The best autumn foliage isn't where they send you. It's earlier, later, higher, further, or simply requires waking up before Instagram does. Every famous autumn destination has a better alternative nearby. Every peak week has a better shoulder week. Every $500 viewpoint has a free sunrise spot that's superior. The pattern never fails. You're no longer bound by peak seasons, tourist reports, or influencer recommendations. You know November beats October, 4 a.m. beats 10 a.m., and local knowledge beats every app ever created. Here is your autumn action plan. Book shoulder seasons, 1 week before or after peak. Stay outside tourist centers. 30 minutes away saves 70%. Wake up at 4 a.m. Own the destination for 3 hours. Find the oldest local coffee shop. Get the real information. Take the local bus. See what tours miss. Email guest houses directly. Avoid booking site markups. Climate change is reshaping autumn. Traditional destinations are shifting weeks. New destinations are emerging. The crowds haven't figured this out yet. You have a 5-year window before everyone else catches on. You now know the secret that transforms autumn from a season to follow into an experience to own. The question isn't where you'll go. It's whether you'll set your alarm for 4 a.m. Welcome to the real autumn travelers. Those who choose empty trails over easy shots, sunrise over sleep, and discovery over destinations.